Do you think I still deserve happiness? A heartfelt storytelling video script channel. Heartfelt moments. She sat across from a man she had never met, her hands trembling slightly under the table. She had almost canceled 3 times that morning. Not because she was nervous about a blind date, but because she wasn't sure she was allowed to want something good anymore. After everything she had been through, after every door that had closed on her, she had begun to wonder if happiness was something other people got to have. Not her. Then she looked up, met his eyes, and asked the question she had been carrying for years quietly, almost in a whisper. Do you think I still deserve happiness? And what happened next changed both of their lives forever. If this story already has your heart, you're in the right place. Here at Heartfelt Moments, we share real, emotional stories about kindness, love, and the incredible things that happen when human beings choose to see each other. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit that like button, and drop a comment below. We read every single one. Now, let's get into the story. Her name was Maya, she was 34 years old, and on paper, her life looked like one long string of hard luck. She had grown up moving from apartment to apartment, raised by a single mother who worked 2 jobs, and still came home to make sure Maya did her homework. When her mother passed away from cancer 6 years ago, Maya had inherited nothing but grief and a small cardboard box of photographs. She had tried, Lord knows she had tried. She worked as a waitress during the day, and took online classes at night, studying to become a medical billing specialist. She rented a small studio apartment in Columbus, Ohio, where the radiator rattled all winter, and the neighbors were too loud. She didn't complain. She just kept going. But somewhere along the way, life had also handed her heartbreak. A relationship that lasted 4 years ended when the man she loved told her she was too much to handle. She had believed him. She stopped going out. She stopped laughing as easily, and slowly, quietly, she started to believe that maybe she was the problem. Maybe she was just not meant for the kind of life other people had: the warmth, the partnership, the simple joy of coming home to someone who was glad to see you. It was her coworker, a spirited woman named Diane, who finally convinced her to try a blind date. Diane had set it up with her brother-in-law's friend, a single dad named Daniel, who she said was one of the good ones. Maya said no 4 times. Then one rainy Tuesday, she said yes. Daniel was 40 years old. He had salt and pepper hair, and laugh lines around his eyes, that made him look like someone who had smiled through a lot of hard days. He was raising his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, on his own after losing his wife to a car accident 3 years prior. He had his own brand of quiet sadness, the kind that settles into your bones when you've loved someone deeply and then had to learn how to live without them. He arrived at the small Italian restaurant 5 minutes early. He brought no flowers because Diane had told him Maya wasn't a flowers on a first date kind of person. Instead, he brought something small and unexpected: a handwritten card that simply said, "Thanks for giving tonight a chance." Me too. When Maya arrived and saw the card sitting on the table, something loosened in her chest. They talked for 3 hours. About their lives, their losses, their small daily victories. Daniel told her about Lily, how she was obsessed with dinosaurs, and had recently informed him that a T-Rex could not, in fact, open a refrigerator because of its short arms, which she found personally devastating. Maya laughed so hard she had to cover her mouth. And then, somewhere between the breadsticks and the tiramisu, in a moment of raw and unexpected honesty, Maya got quiet. She looked down at her hands. And she told him the truth, that she had spent years feeling like she was asking for too much, just by wanting a normal, happy life. That somewhere along the way, she had started to believe she wasn't quite worthy of it. And then she looked up and asked him softly, vulnerably, "Do you think I still deserve happiness?" Daniel didn't laugh. He didn't deflect. He didn't give her a polished, reassuring answer designed to move past the uncomfortable moment. He sat with it. He looked at her for a long second. And then he said, "I think the fact that you're still here, still trying, still showing up even when everything has been hard is proof enough. Yeah, I really do." It wasn't a grand gesture. There were no fireworks, but kindness doesn't always look like a dramatic rescue. Sometimes it looks like one person choosing to truly see another person and say, "You matter. You are not too much. You are enough." They went on a second date, and a third. 6 months later, Maya met Lily, who immediately informed her that the Brachiosaurus was the superior dinosaur, and that any other opinion was incorrect. Maya agreed wholeheartedly. Lily decided she was acceptable. A year after that rainy blind date, Maya stood in Daniel's backyard on a warm June evening. The three of them planted a small garden together: tomatoes, sunflowers, and one very stubborn rosebush that refused to cooperate. And Maya realized, with quiet wonder, that she was happy. Not the perfect, airbrushed kind. The real kind, a little messy, a little unexpected, and completely worth it. Kindness has a way of arriving exactly when we've stopped expecting it. Sometimes it's a grand act, and sometimes it's just one person asking the right question, and another person choosing to answer with honesty and grace. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs a reminder today that they are worthy, they are seen, and yes, they absolutely still deserve happiness. And we'll see you in the next story, right here at Heartfelt Moments.